What's going on, STR Nation? Welcome back to another Tuesday with Mike and Mike. And today we want to talk about something that is extremely important if you want to save yourself time and create a better guest experience for your guests. And that is creating a world-class house manual / guidebook. Now, I just came back from Florida a couple of weeks ago on a business trip, checking out some property. And I stayed at a short-term rental across the street from where we were looking to buy. And when we got to the property, there was no house manual. They didn't have an electronic one. They didn't have a physical one. And so it just leads to a lot of questions. Something as simple as a confusing TV remote. Like, is this a cable TV? Like, what streaming stations do I have access to? Where's I couldn't find the laundry detergent. I wanted to do some laundry. I'm like, do you guys have laundry detergent? Like that type of information would have been really good to know before we got there. Like, they didn't provide K-cups. If I had known that, I would have stopped and got K-cups for the coffee machine, right? Like certain things that you want to think through, everything from basically you want to think of it as a FAQ section. And I know for us, we look at our guidebooks as like living, breathing documents. They get refreshed regularly. So if we keep having guests ask us similar questions or they're having issues with certain things, that triggers us to say, hey, let's go back, review the guidebook, review the instructions, make sure everything is really clear. Or maybe we need to record a video or some type of walkthrough to show people how to use certain things. So a couple things right off the bat is address, arrival, and parking instructions. Then how to use the locks. I typically use the Yale Assure locks, but sometimes we send the guest the code, but then they also have to push the check mark button. And some of them are digital. So like there's no buttons until you put your hand over the lock. So if they don't know that, they're standing there and they're like, hey, this lock is dead, and they start calling you. But if you have a good house manual that illustrates, hey, cover the lock, it turns it on, enter the 4-digit code, and then press the check mark. It just saved them frustration from not being able to get in, and it saved you time from having to get on the phone with them to explain that very simple instruction. Right? So getting them into the property is the first step. And then what's the first thing that they're going to ask you for? What is the Wi-Fi password, right? So we like to put physical signs in the property with it, but we also include it in the digital guidebook. So that's like the next piece. Then you want to think about where are the thermostats located and how do you use them? Some of them are a little easier to use than others, right? So especially in different seasons in different parts of the world, it gets really hot, it gets really cold. People want to be comfortable. So where are the zones and where are the thermostats to control those zones? Letting them know all of that information. How to use the TV remotes. You know, what streaming do you offer? You know, YouTube TV, is it Hulu? Is it Peacock, Netflix, whatever it is, letting them know in the guidebook and then having a picture of the remote to show them, you press these buttons to go find that channel. Which is why I typically like to use the TCL Roku TVs because there's like 8 buttons on that remote. It's pretty hard to screw it up. So we typically like to use those. Some other things, again, where's the washer and dryer? Where's the iron? Where's the pack and play, high chair, stroller, if you offer those types of things? Like, where are these things located so that if people are coming in, they have one place to go to find all the information that they need. And then including all the restaurants that you recommend, all the coffee shops that you recommend. How close is the local grocery store? How close is the closest gas station? Like all these different things that, like, when you're traveling to a new area, you don't know. And then you're sitting there on Google, like trying to figure it out yourself, just like searching for everything. If you just have that in a nice guidebook / house manual, it makes everything so much smoother for the guest, and it saves you from answering a million questions. So Mike, any other one that popped into my head? I mean, you're my hot tub guy, so I would probably think that your house manual includes hot tub instructions.
Absolutely. We actually have, it's in the house manual, and then we have, you know, a hot tub instruction manual outside the hot tub and also a digital version of it too. But so just to kind of level set, there's 3 million hosts on Airbnb with a lot joining every month, obviously. Only 2% of them make over $100,000 a year. And that's because 98% of them just do what your host in Florida did. Like, all right, here's the property. Yeah, we'll put some linens in it. We'll give you the minimal bare bones amenities and we'll probably make good money. And that's it. And, you know, we'll have a property manager do it and, you know, they'll clean it and whatever. But these videos that we're making on Tuesdays are how you can scale and implement these little things. Like these things take 10, 15 minutes to put together. And then over the course of time, you'll add some stuff to it. But these things compound, these little tips that we're giving so that you can earn over $100,000 and you can scale the business and systemize the business. So you're not answering a bunch of questions. Like half the reason I love the house manuals that we have two, we've got a digital version and an actual physical version at the house, is so we don't have to answer the questions. Everything's in the guidebook. So
Yeah.
we don't spend time on answering questions about coffee or answering questions about like where are the beach towels or how to operate the gas grill, how to operate the TV. What we do for some of our properties too is we actually have YouTube videos of how to operate the gas grill, how to operate the hot tub, how to operate the TV. So whenever, you know, they have a question, they just go to the guidebook and say, how to operate the gas grill. And there's a video of me, you know, turning on the gas grill or whoever you want. So that's hugely important to save time for you as the host, and also save time for the guests. And it just adds to the experience. They can go to one place on their phone and get the answer to whatever their question is. Like that just adds to the experience. So
One
for
other thing
us,
I'll throw in there, like going back to the Wi-Fi question, is how do you reset the Wi-Fi? So the place that I stayed, the host was very nice. She was super responsive, but she was on the phone with me way more than she needed to be if she just had a guidebook. Like I was on the phone with her probably 3 times a day. Like, where is this? Where is this? Where is this? Like, come on. Right. But like the Wi-Fi wasn't working and I couldn't find the router. Like, where is the router? Like, how do I reset it? Like, yes, we have a little section in the guidebook on like, here's the Wi-Fi, you know, information to log in. But then we also have, hey, if the Wi-Fi stops working, here's how to reset it. Once you've tried that, then you reach out to us. So try to reset it yourself first. If that doesn't work, then you can call us and we'll call the cable company. Yeah. So like doing those types of things, if you have a fireplace, I have a wood burning fireplace at 2 properties, like very detailed instructions on how to use that fireplace. Like make sure you open the flute, because if you don't, you're going to smoke the place out and burn the house down, right? Like very, very, very detailed instructions on how to use a lot of that stuff. Some of the sleeper sofas are kind of weird to open, especially if they're like the lay flat ones. So we use the videos like Mike was saying with me. Here's how you do it. You push it and then it lays flat, right? Like a lot of those things, one, they're going to save you from breaking furniture. 2, it's going to save you from having to get on the phone and explain to guests, or save you from getting bad reviews because they're like, oh, the couch wasn't working. And you're like, no, it was. You just didn't know how to use it. So think through all those questions and constantly keep that house manual updated so that as you get more and more questions, you have to respond to less and less of them because you're just constantly adding it to your guidebook. So there's 2 different ways that you can do this, right? When at the beginning, we created a Google Doc and then just had a PDF version of it that we would just share via Dropbox or Google Drive with the guests. Now we use a digital guidebook with a company called Hostfully, and I'll include a link below to get you guys 2 free months with them. It's very reasonably priced, very inexpensive, but I really like the look and feel of it, and it's just very concise, and they make it very easy for you to also add local recommendations, places to eat, bars, attractions, activities. And it's basically like doing a Google search in there. It'll pull in their address, their website, their photos, their hours of operation, and just categorize it very easily so guests know and they don't have to do all that research themselves. So you can build out all your arrival instructions, all your house manual information, departure instructions, and then all your recommendations for things to do in the area, all in a nice compact like digital version. And you can set it up so in order for them to get access to the guidebook, they have to give you their name and email. So like it's another way for you to start building up your database of guests so that you can start retargeting and remarketing to them for future stays. Anything else you want to add to that, Mike?
No. Do you want me to share my screen and share one of them?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, cool.
Whip through it real quick.
Let's do it real quick. So this is one of the digital guidebooks. We use Hostfully. As Mike said, we'll put the link to the Hostfully guidebooks in the comments here. But this is what a guest sees. So this is, if they go on their phone, they go, on the internet, this is what they would see. So first thing, arrival, like check-in times, everything's in here, kind of what the weather is going to be like. You can rent baby gear from here. You can find transportation. Then it's got the actual house manual with the door code access, Wi-Fi, the kitchen stuff, trash disposal. That's a big question that we get. Departure, what the checkout instructions are. And then this is really cool, places to eat. So all the places that are nearby, it's got a map for you. So you can look, all right, here's the house and here's everything that's around us that we can go to eat. Same thing with activities. There's a swimming pool in our community. There's a bunch of parks around. So they can plan their trip before they even go, and just kind of pick out places through the guidebook. And then I'll show you guys also, this is what the guest or guidebook looks like for the PDF version that we have actually physically at the houses. And then with that, we also include like pamphlets on local restaurants and what their menus look like and that sort of thing, as well. And then lastly, when to send the guidebook too. So when somebody books our property, we send the guidebook right away so that they can start planning their trip. And then 24 hours after, or 24 hours before check-in, there's another automated message that we send the guidebook as well. And then 18 hours after check-in, we send the guidebook as well. So all those are automated messages that, kind of check in with them and say, all right, here's the guidebook. If you have any questions, let us know. But we never get questions because they're all answered in the guidebook or the house manual. And it just saves a ton of time, but it adds value to their experience and creates new experiences. Whereas, maybe they would have just kind of walked around the community instead of going to the, national forest that was nearby to go hiking or something like that. So it definitely adds value, but it saves time for us as well.
100%. So again, having a really good guidebook / house manual is, one, it's vital for a good guest experience, but two, it's also vital as you scale because you just have to answer less and less questions. So hopefully we drilled that point home. Again, we'll include the link below that you guys can use that link to get 2 free months with Hostfully if you want to go with the digital version. And again, if you haven't already, make sure you check out the free STR Secret Starter Pack. We've got our deal analyzer in there, a bunch of free trainings, a bunch of tools, templates, checklists that you can get absolutely free. Just text the word resources to 978-242-0001, and we'll get you guys hooked up. So as always, appreciate all of you guys. Have an amazing week, and we'll talk to you guys soon.